Attention all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
This has been a big weekend for news. Of course, we've been trying to get to it all morning, but we've had some great discussions already. The situation with a potential deal to end the Iran war. So much back and forth. In some ways, I'm glad we didn't hit it so heavily because there's so much we don't know. The people with skin in the game, though, are making a cautious bet that this is going to end. We're seeing oil prices at I'm seeing a 90 handle on West Texas Intermediate and U.S. crude prices, so I'm liking that. Also liking that gasoline prices, according to AAA, been trickling lower down. Last couple of days, we're down to $4.50 national average. That's still quite a bit higher than that $2.98 before the war, but still good to see it going in that direction. On the line right now with us is the great host of the Stone Zone and also the Roger Stone Show, and a great friend of the president is Roger Stone. And Roger, it's Jake Novak. Roger, with me is John Catsimatidis and Dominic Carter. Roger, could this, the President Trump has really, I think, made it clear who the top dog is here. Whatever happens with this Iran deal, this idea that he's being railroaded one way or the other, it's kind of ludicrous, isn't it?
Yeah, if you know Donald Trump, as John Catsimatidis has known him for many, many years, he's his own man. Nobody tells him what to do. Nobody suggests what's right for him. He'll always listen to a broad cross-section of advisors, and he'll make his own decision. Now, I supported Midnight Hammer. I think it was the right thing to do at the time based on what we knew. And I supported Epic Fury. I was a little skeptical at first, but he knows a lot more than I do in terms of intelligence. And now I think he thinks the time is right to end this war, and I really pray that he's right, because we were on the trajectory to one of the great boom economies of all time. Housing, food prices, gas prices. John has spoken about that extensively. And we can get back on that track, and we can get back on that track selfishly in return for the midterm elections. But the president has to think it's right and think that everything we've been through is worth it. I put my trust in the president. I've known him 50 years. He is America first. And I trust him. And I think he's working day and night to get this wrapped up.
You know, Roger, we're seeing these, obviously the mainstream media likes to play games with these polls, and they're all excited about how the economy is polling low right now for President Trump. It's obviously been traditionally a big strength for him. But, I mean, if we get gasoline prices back down to the $2 handle in most of the country, which could really happen pretty quickly, I don't know how long. I don't know if the Democrats are going to want to play the economic game that much longer.
5 minutes after the Strait of the Hormuz is open up and there's a perception of long-term peace, gasoline and crude oil will be coming down to normal prices, $60, $65 a barrel, $3, maybe even less on gasoline. And the other thing is, with Powell being out, and you have a new Fed chairman, as soon as the gasoline comes down, then he will have the ability, after it comes down, to lower interest rates. So if we go into July 4th with low gasoline and low interest rates, guess what? We could win 49 states in November. Roger, what do you think?
John, you've been very, very consistent about this, particularly about the oil sector that you know more about than anyone else. Totally agree with you about the Federal Reserve. The interest rate is supposed to be based solely on the level of inflation and the level of unemployment. Unemployment and inflation have both been lower than they were the last time the Federal Reserve cut rates for Joe Biden. So it isn't Trump who's been political at the Federal Reserve. It's Jerome Powell who's been political. He's been trying to hold back the Trump recovery. By the way, he's a lawyer. He's not even an economist. I think that's kind of strange. But I couldn't agree with you more. We could have a housing boom, but everything, I learned this from you, everything keys off of the price of gas, everything. And that will get us lower interest rates. Kevin Warsh is a very good man, the new Federal Reserve Board chairman. I still think we could have a boom economy by October.
I agree with you 100%. I think it could be September. If you have all those trillions of dollars of business coming in, and then around the big businesses, let's say Toyota builds a new $1 billion plant, a $2 billion plant. And I've talked to our small business administration, Laufer. What's her name? Laufer?
Yes. SBA.
And what they do, the SBA is going to lend money to small businesses to build small businesses around those $1 billion pharmaceutical deals, those $1 billion automobile deals. So you'll have small business playing the music along with big business. And that's what the future of the United States. And the other thing I have said publicly, I'm the first one to predict the 50,000 Dow when it was down to 32,000 last June or July. I predict that if all those things happen, that the Dow Jones could be close between 57 and 60,000 by the end of this year. Roger, what do you think?
I think you're right on the money. It's interesting, these new polls show us that people have reservations about these data centers. The nice thing about data centers is you can build them anywhere. You can build them on rural lands, you can build them on Native American lands, but their concerns are that the utility rate costs will go up. There's now technology that the government's looking very heavily at that doesn't use a fossil fuel-based energy producer that could fund these data centers. So there'd be no bump in utility costs, and there'd be no shortage of water, the two things you need to run these things. So I think high technology is going to give us a boom in that area as well.
Roger, it already is happening. I took a look at Caterpillar and Deere. There has been a major run on construction materials. Before you can have the power drain, you got to build the data centers, and there is a building boom surrounding this situation. By the way, you mentioned you can build them anywhere. You can also build them in space. That's something Elon Musk is working on, by the way, and that will just use the solar power from outer space. But this is already something that's happening. I mean, I think that there are a couple of stories out there, Roger, that are telling us that the economy is stronger than we think, including trucking volume. You can have trains, you can have planes, you can do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, almost every good that's delivered in America is delivered at the end by someone in a truck. And the trucking volumes are through the roof. I mean, the boom economy might be here already. We just don't know about it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've never met a truck driver who was for Kamala Harris. That's for sure.
So, Roger Stone, it's Dominic. Good morning. I want to, two questions I want to ask you. One's very simplistic in terms of what does Memorial Day mean to you? After all, that's what we hear in filling in for Sid. And then the second question, is it a coincidence that these shootings, alleged shootings, and keep happening around President Trump? I saw a poll, Roger Stone, that said as much as 49% of Democrats believe that these things are staged in part, which is nutty, by President Trump. So if you could answer those two questions for me.
Sure. First of all, Dominic, we've been friends a long time. It's
a very
really good
long
to hear
time,
your voice.
brother. It's always great to say hello to you. Always. And wait. Stop, Roger Stone. You're not a sometimey friend. If Roger Stone is with you, Roger Stone is with you in good. Roger Stone is with you in bad. He doesn't turn his back on you. That needs to be said, Roger. Go right ahead, please.
Well, that's very kind. You're a good man, Dominic. I think, sadly, that this spasm of violence in the country, these shootings, this is being driven by the overheated rhetoric of one party. I don't know any Republicans who are going around screaming for the death of Chuck Schumer, for example. That would be horrific, irresponsible. But the overheated rhetoric is what I think is responsible for this spasm of violence. And the idea that anyone would stage an assassination attempt. You can go all over Twitter right now, or X as they call it, and find the people who said, the whole White House correspondent, I think stuff that was planned by Roger Stone. I find that particularly offensive. Last week when I was in Washington, D.C., I went out to Arlington Cemetery, and I went to the gravesite of my political mentor, Governor John Davis Lodge of Connecticut. Lodge was Henry Cabot Lodge's brother. The Lodge brothers, their father was Henry Cabot Lodge Sr., and the Secretary of War under Theodore Roosevelt, was Teddy Roosevelt's best friend, U.S. Senator of Massachusetts. Lodge was a governor, congressman, ambassador to Argentina, Spain, and later Switzerland. Spain under Eisenhower, Argentina under Nixon, Switzerland under Reagan. He was one of the greatest men I ever knew. And I went out to visit his grave. He gave me my start, introduced me to Richard Nixon, and the rest is history. But it is so moving to look across Arlington Cemetery in the morning and see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of graves of men and women who gave all for this country. So when people say to me, Happy Memorial Day, no, today is not a day for happiness. Today is a day for reflection. Today is a day for gratitude to those who gave all for the country.
Roger Stone, I want to continue on that theme just a little bit. I mentioned the name of Sarah Beckstrom a few hours ago, someone who we should remember on this Memorial Day. That she was that National Guard trooper who was shot point blank just by someone who wanted to take a cheap political shot at someone trying to defend our country. And specifically, she was the perfect example of the answer to that argument. People say, well, why are we sending troops far overseas when we have problems here in this country? And President Trump's the first one in so many ways to do that on this grand scale, not only protecting cities like Washington, D.C., but the waters of off of our southern borders from fentanyl and things like that. He's actually doing both of those things. And I just think that Sarah's someone to remember today, because it's not only foreign wars where we've lost our servicemen and women. It's in things like this where someone's just trying to make daily life in America safer for all of us.
Well, he is the law and order president, and he wasn't kidding around when it came to that. I was in Washington, D.C. week before last, as you know. I keep getting called down, makes it hard to do my show. We need to get an affiliate. We need to get an affiliate in Washington, D.C., where I can get a studio. He is really intent on making the nation's capital a model place. I mean, he's going to redevelop the entire waterfront, which is going to be magnificent. But it's clean, it's safe. People are happy. And it's the people who live there who are the happiest. He's very serious about being the law and order president.
In Washington, D.C., I mean, when people were scared to walk around, it's almost like a regular, back to normal. And the president has done a great job. Jeanine Pirro has done a great job. What's next? I mean, I know he's sending people into. He sent people into what was it in Tennessee, Memphis, and
predominantly all black community,
and New Orleans too, and why, Roger? Why are the Democrats? Who are these people not to want safety in their community? I don't understand what the heck is going on.
It's hard to understand what the constituency is of those who are dangerous, illegal criminals who are here when they're not supposed to be. Where are the votes in that? It's interesting. You mentioned these places like Memphis, which was particularly dangerous. If you talk to the people in Memphis, they're happy to have the help. Even the mayor of D.C., Bowser, who's not a fan of Donald Trump, to say the least, has been forced to admit that the city is safer and it's cleaner since Donald Trump moved the National Guard in. So, but people who don't want anyone going to these urban centers that are crime pits, they don't live there. They're the people on the outside. He was very serious about becoming the law and order president, and he's making the country more stable and safer again.
And that's why Sarah Beckstrom didn't die in vain. Absolutely.
It's just there's so many problems in the country. I don't understand. I was a Democrat, and at one time, and I was a Bill Clinton Democrat. I was JFK Democrat, but I don't understand. Like Cory Booker, I know him in New Jersey. I know him. Why is he criticizing for shooting down the boats coming in with fentanyl, with drugs to kill our kids? I don't understand it.
Pardon me. I think the answer to your question, John, is that the base of voters in that party has moved so far to the left that if you're a moderate like Bill Clinton, you can no longer be nominated. There is no constituency. The word moderate Democrat is an oxymoron. It almost doesn't exist. Their party has been taken credit by a radical clique of Marxists like Mamdani, like AOC, like Ilhan Omar, like that old windbag Bernie Sanders. I don't think it's electable. They don't have a platform. Let me sum up their platform for me, if I may. We hate Donald Trump. There's their platform. They don't have anything else. They have no plan for energy independence. They have no plan to keep inflation down. They have no plan for housing. They have no plan for safer streets and communities. They have no plan to rebuild our military. They literally have no plan. It's all based on anti, and I don't think that will work.
And you left out that they are also Democrats, also for crime. I mean, that's part of their platform as well.
I don't understand that. I don't understand. I mean, I understand having a heart. And, you don't want a guy to get 5 years in prison for stealing a loaf of bread. I mean, I can understand that. But murderers, drug dealers, I mean, to criticize the fact that the ICE deports them,
it's disgusting.
That the FBI has to arrest them because local authorities don't arrest them.
We went too far from George Floyd. It's as simple as that. It went way, way too far, and now Democrats are the party of criminals, and it's why people like myself, you, and others have left, and why we turn to people for solid advice like Roger Stone, who's the real deal.
Very kind.
Roger is on every day from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Monday through Friday, and 2 o'clock special on Sunday afternoons. I think it's 3 to 5? And
3 to 5.
Yeah, and please listen to Roger Stone. And you're right, Roger. I saw that text someplace that they call your show a different name Monday through Friday than they do on Sunday. It should be the same name, because when I look at it to find a podcast or find a minicast, it's harder to find. And we'll tell programming to make sure they just should put it under Roger Stone.
Yeah, we're working with Kevin and Ten to have it all branded as the Stone Zone.
You got it. The Stone Zone, Roger Stone. Thank you for everything you do, and tell the truth to the American people. That's very important. And thank you for coming on this Memorial Day. And let's not forget all the people we have lost on Memorial Day.